From Chapter 11, Section 4, here's problem 111. This problem is about safe nighttime speeds if you're on the highway. So to find the safe nighttime speed limit, we need to solve this equation for x. 1 over 9 times x squared plus 11 over 3 times x equals 180. I think this number on the right, 180, is different depending on what version of the problem you get, but my version gave me 180. This is a quadratic equation, so our general strategy for solving it might be factoring or completing the square, but the numbers are messy enough that probably we should just use the quadratic formula. There are a couple things to be aware of using the quadratic formula. First, one side of the equation has to be 0, so this 180 on the right-hand side, we need to get that to the other side first. So let's subtract 180 from both sides. That gives us 1 over 9x squared plus 11 over 3x minus 180 equals 0. Now we could use the quadratic formula with this, just how it is, but because of the fractions it's going to be a little bit inconvenient. So what we can do is multiply both sides of this equation by 9. And I'm multiplying by 9 to get rid of all of the denominators in the fractions. 9 is the least common denominator for these fractions. So when we distribute this 9 here, like this, we get, so 9 times 1 over 9 is 1, so that's just going to give us x squared plus, and then 9 times 11 over 3 is 33 times x minus 9 times 180, so you can either work that out by hand or just use a calculator. It's 1,620. And on the right-hand side of the equation, 9 times 0 is 0. All right, so here we go. This is going to be a little easier to put into the quadratic formula. So for our quadratic formula, a, the coefficient on the squared term, is 1. Remember, when there isn't a coefficient there, that's because it's actually 1. B, the coefficient on the first power term, that's this one, that's going to be 33. And C, the constant coefficient, that's this one, is going to be 1,620. But remember that the minus sign is part of C, so negative 1,620. And now we can just put this all into the quadratic formula and see what it gives us. So we get x equals, remember the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, so square root of all that, over 2a. And so let's put everything in. We get x equals negative b, so that's negative 33, plus or minus the square root of 33 squared minus 4 times 1, which is a, times c, which is negative 1,620. So square root of that whole thing, all over 2 times 1. Okay, now we just need to do all of this arithmetic. So negative 33 plus or minus the square root of, dump all this stuff inside the square root into your calculator. I got 7,569. All over 2 times 1 is 2. So negative 33 plus or minus, the square root here is 87. All over 2. Okay, so on the one hand we get x equals negative 33 plus 87 over 2, and that's 54 over 2, and that's 27. So So there's one solution. The other one, we get x equals negative 33 minus 87 all over 2. This is going to give us negative 120 over 2, and that's negative 60. Now, there's nothing wrong with a negative answer in general, but for this particular problem, remember that x is representing a speed limit. Does it make sense for a speed limit to be negative? Not really. So for that reason, we'll discard this solution. Even though it is a solution to the equation, it doesn't really make sense in the particular situation we have. So our answer is 27. The nighttime speed limit should be 27 miles per hour.